Oh my. Oh my. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Hello.
This is a little odd. A little
Yeah.
creepy. Maybe I should change my avatar to make it a little more interesting.
But during the
I think.
sausage fest.
What,
Der
what
Wiener
does this mean?
Schnitzel's out.
Okay, hold on. Wait, maybe this one will work. Let's see. That work?
Oh
No,
my God.
no,
Oh,
no. That one doesn't work.
I'm no longer excited. Oh, hey, now
That
I like that
better.
one.
That one's better. That one's better. Let's see if I've got a. I don't know if this will work or not. Let me see if this works.
So is that better or worse?
Oh my God.
No? Okay.
Hey, it's a little creepy.
Yes, it is a little creepy.
It's almost like seeing experts 8-year-old avatar when he does that.
Would this be better?
Hey, Dibby.
Would this be better? No? No, not better.
No.
Something like this.
I don't care. Oh God, no, no. Go back to the other one.
Liar! Hey Debbie, how's it going? Good to see you, Debbie Webb. Hey Digital Storm.
That one will make someone convert and start praying.
Could make them start praying. Good to see you, Alicia. How you doing? El Presidente, Puddletown Esquire. Good to see you. Sally Bischoff, how's it going? Whim Welsh, dang, really? Yeah. Well, we got Welsh Lady whenever she's able to make it. You know, it is really late for her. So sometimes she just sits back and listens and, just laughs uncontrollably.
Gets high. Sees all the funny dragons and mushrooms. All the pretty colors.
Pretty colors. So happy. Hey Debbie, how's it going? How's it going? Oh yeah, we got some. Well, we're finishing out one book and starting on another. This is one of the short stories. So I'll go. I guess I'll just go ahead and start. Now we may have other people joining us here later. We'll see. We'll see. It does happen. So in the meantime, we'll play a little bit. We'll play along with this just a little bit. Hey Daniel Barry, good to see you. Quinn, quit fidgeting. I can't find this thing if you don't stop fidgeting. Quinn looked at Lucas sitting on a stool in the kitchen and forced himself to stand still. Thoughts of what had happened to her went through his mind. He didn't want her Nana to suffer the burns she had gotten. So yes, he was fidgeting. Oh, that would have been... So that's a girl that was saying that. Okay. Quinn looked at Luca. I thought Quinn was a dude.
Quinn's a dude. Luke is a girl.
Okay. I thought so.
If I remember right. I don't know. They all come out sounding the same to me.
He had always loved coming here, even as a pup. Gloria Brennan was the matriarch of the Brennan family of witches and elder of the local coven. She was known for her homegrown herbs, awesome baking, and her love of a good cup of tea. The whole town loved her and called her Miss Gloria, Gloria. What I want to know, Miss Gloria, is why are you poking around my chest? Are you looking for the curse to lift, or are you checking out my magnificent abs? Ooh, rub my nipples. That had got him a slap on the back of his head and a snort of laughter from Luca. He looked at her, he grinned, which made her laugh just a little harder. Behave, Quinn, or I'll have to call your mama. Well, Quinn chuckled, leaned down to kiss her cheek. I'll behave. Just be careful, though. He glanced at Luca, then at her bandaged hands. Be careful, Miss Gloria. She smiled and gave him a wink before laying her hands on his chest. Quinn stood as still as he could and listened to the words Miss Gloria was chanting. Her hands were cool to where Luca's hands had been warm and soft. Then Luca had touched him. A familiar electric spark shot through his whole body. She'd always had that effect on him. He could never get enough of her. That was until the day he broke things off and left Grady. Are you okay, Quinn? He looked at Miss Gloria and nodded. Good. I've found the curse and I can lift it, but it's going to be painful. I'm sorry. Well, it's okay. I just want it lifted.
Just take a deep breath.
So take a deep breath while I stick it in. Luca's Nana nodded. She closed her eyes again and started chanting. Quinn could feel the magic swirling around him, sending goosebumps across his skin. He hadn't felt that with Luca, but maybe he didn't pay attention since he was focused on how good it felt with her hands on his skin. But now he could feel something burning deep inside him. It wasn't too bad at first, but it started getting harder. It intensified. Suddenly, Quinn felt as if his entire body was engulfed in flames. Crying out, he dropped to his knees. The cry turned into a wolf's howl as he fought the shift. He couldn't let his wolf out right now. It could prevent Luca's Nana from lifting the curse. The pain of the heat was replaced by the pain of Miss Gloria pulling at the curse. It felt like she was going to pull his whole body inside out, and then suddenly the pain stopped. Quinn, are you okay? Luca knelt beside him and wrapped an arm around his shoulders. He was shaking and struggling to calm his breathing. I'm okay, little witch. How's your Nana? They both looked up at Miss Gloria, who'd sat down in a chair and had her hand on her chest, trying to catch her breath. Luca stirred and hurried into the kitchen, returning with 2 glasses of water. She handed one to Quinn, the other to her Nana. Are you okay, Nana? Yes, I'm just fine, Luca. Quinn stood up and sat down in a chair across from Miss Gloria. His chest tightened when he took a look at her pale skin and the shaking of her hands. Had this been too much for the the older witch? She certainly looked like it was, but he knew she was a tough old witch with very powerful magic. How do you feel, Quinn? He took several deep breaths to calm his racing heart, then felt lighter, as if she had lifted a huge boulder that he had been sitting on his chest. I feel lighter in a way. I can tell something's different, but I can't quite put my finger in it, on what it is. Hey, Debbie. Miss Gloria nodded. Well, that was one hell of a curse on you, but I believe I lifted it. You should really start feeling the effects, or rather not feel the effects of the curse soon. Get some rest. You'll feel normal in a few hours. Could you tell who cursed him? Luca looked at him, then at her Nana, who shook her head. Oh, it was strong magic, like you said. I think it was a fluke that the curse took hold of Quinn the way it did, but I think it was very personal, put on before you thought of leaving town. I'd start thinking of who you were close to, or who might have had a crush on you before you left, but that's all I can give you. I'm sorry. Oh, no need to be sorry, Miss Gloria. You've done plenty for me. Quinn stood, helped Miss Gloria to stand up before he wrapped her in a big hug, still shirtless and his abs throbbing against her. Thank you for helping me. The older woman lifted on her toes to whisper in his ear. Now, you do right by my granddaughter, or I'll cut that thing off. I promise, Miss Gloria, I promise. He kissed her on the cheek and looked at Luca again. Woman, you ready to go? Luca nodded, hugged her Nana. Thank you, Nana. Let me know if you figure out who did this curse, and I'll do the same. Well, you two stay out of trouble, and no stoking in the hokey-pokey in the back rooms, you understand?
All that sinning going on.
Well, no sinning. Quinn and Luca both chuckled. Her grandma was always telling them when they were younger. Both of them waved and walked out the door to Luca's Jeep. Well, Quinn wished he had driven himself out here, not because he didn't trust Luca's driving, but she was a little crazy, but because he needed time to think. As he got into the Jeep and looked over at Luca with the sun shining on her long black curls, and remembered his fingers getting wet and her entangled in them. He'd always loved that hair, especially when it fanned out on the pillow beneath her when you was loving her. His body stiffened at the thought, and that's not all that got stiff. So where to? He pushed the image of Luca lying naked beneath him and gave her a questioning look. Oh, where do you want to drop me off? Home? The roadhouse? Quinn licked his lips and hesitated a moment before he spoke. Take me to the lake. Where? Let's get to the lake. Your Nana said I need to take it easy, so I'm thinking there's no better place than at the lake. We always used to love going out there. The peace and quiet might be, just what I need.
And all that moistness.
Oh, that moistness. You sick little puppy. Alrighty.
Okay. Chapter 7. Luca looked over at Quinn. There was the damn sexy grin again. The one that she could never refuse. But she had to refuse. She couldn't get caught up in his arms and his charms and wolfish grin. There would be no surviving his rejection this time around. Quinn, I have a shop to run and I should get to it. I can drop you off and get your bike and you can go out. His grin widened and his eyes twinkled with mischief. Wait a minute, what is this one? Oh, there we go, yeah. Chicken, are you afraid you can't keep your hands off me? Luca snorted as she started her Jeep. You wish. All right, I'll go to the lake with you, but you make sure that you keep your hands off me. Quinn laughed as she put the Jeep in gear and headed to the lake. Lake Grady wasn't a big lake. In fact, it could barely be called a lake, but it was a favorite place for teens to come and to have parties without adults getting in the way. Luca had her first beer and her first shot of tequila and her first threesome at the lake. It was also where she and Quinn had made love for the first time. The first time had turned countless times, and they'd spent hours laying on a blanket in the dark, staring up at the stars, after his donkey punch, and talking.
It's donkey punch and talking.
After she...
Hey, Kitty Kate, how you doing? How's
What's going
it
on?
Kaiser?
What's up, y'all?
Oh my gosh, it's good. It's good.
What's
I
up?
really
the
love.
sausage fest gets bigger.
Yes, it's much bigger. The sausage as always gets bigger. I'm a grower, not a shower.
Oh yeah. Well, we will be a little short. Diva and Volstorm are not able to make it tonight, so
Yeah.
and we'll see.
Yeah, sorry, I was
what
late
happens.
running with the family reunion and everything, trying to get everybody out the door.
Well, I
Yeah.
understand. No worries. I got you.
All right. Luca pulled off the road and onto the trail that led to the lake. The large oak tree came into view even before the lake did, and she went straight to it, ignoring the fact that it was their spot when they'd been together. She refused to look at Quinn as she brought the Jeep to a stop. If she saw the damn grin, she would... Wait a minute. Oh, she really would curse him and drive away, leaving him there. They both got out of the Jeep, and she went back to the hatch to get the blanket she always kept there, then went to stand next to Quinn. I bet that blanket could stand up on its own.
I bet it could.
This place hasn't changed. Luca looked around and tried to see it through his eyes. What? Okay, whatever. Most things never change around here. It can be comforting and boring all at the same time. How come you never left? I think I'm getting my voices confused. She turned her head to look at him. This is where my roots are. Wait a minute, no. That's the wrong one again. This is where my roots are. My entire coven. See, she's in the coven. And my family are here. Then there's my shop. I have to say that leaving and seeing the world outside of Grady, that I'm glad I'm back. I spent some time in New York and Chicago. Well, New York was playing with John McClane, but that's a whole different story. I hated every moment, especially falling out of a building. Then I literally went from one coast to another and back again. And there's really no place like Grady. Lucas' heart clenched. He hadn't mentioned that he liked Grady so much because she was there. The moment that thought came to her mind, she shook it off. She didn't want to be the reason he'd come back other than him thinking she'd cursed him. It took her a while, but she finally carved out a life as she was very content with. Whatever. She didn't need him sticking around. In fact, she wanted him to leave so things would get back to normal.
What's normal?
Exactly. They walked to the oak tree in silence, then sat down on the blanket that she had spread across the ground. An uncomfortable silence stretched between them. At least it was uncomfortable for Luca. Clearing her throat, she turned to Quinn. So is this relaxing you? Well, I don't know about Quinn, but my asshole would be so puckered I'd be shitting diamonds right about now if she talked to me like that. Quinn shook his head and turned to look at her. I guess I didn't think it would be so hard sitting next to you out here at our spot and not touch you. Luca. Luca swallowed as every muscle in her body tensed. Luca held her gaze for a moment until she looked away, and then looked back and looked away and looked back, but she held her gaze and was about to stand until he covered her hand with his. Don't go, Luca. I keep getting them confused. There's so much left unsaid between us. With the curse lifted, I can think more clearly. And... Luca jerked her hand away from his and stood. Her body stiffened as heat flushed through her body. Well,
oh, yeah.
The clap doesn't just go away. Trust me, Quinn. There's nothing left unsaid between us. Nothing. I said all I needed to say when you left. Yes, I understand. You were pressured by your family. Yes, I understand now that the curse had something to do with it. But you have no idea how long it took me to get over you. How much damage your leaving did. I have nothing else to say. Quinn stood as she had been talking, so she took a step back to put a pace between them. I'm leaving, Quinn. You can either stay here or I can drop you somewhere. Whatever you decide. I'm leaving. Luca turned to walk away, but Quinn reached out to take her arm and pulled her to him. She closed her eyes as he buried his head in her hair, and the goosebumps slid over her skin as she felt his warmth beneath her ear. Oh, stay, Luca. I have missed you so much. He lifted his head, then leaned his forehead against hers and headbutted her until she saw the stars again. I have felt like I have been in a fog since I left, much like your now ensuing concussion. That went away when I came back. It went away the minute I saw you. We can just talk. I'll keep my hands to myself, no matter how hard it will be.
Oh, it's going to be very hard.
Luca.
Hey, Cindy Brown, good to see you.
Luca didn't hesitate, although she'd probably regret it later. She cupped his ass cheeks and brought his mouth. Wait a minute. Oh, that's awkward. And brought his mouth to hers and kissed softly. Then she tried to pull away. He growled and cupped the back of her neck and pulled her lips back to his. He ran his tongue across her lips until she opened for him, and he swept inside her warm mouth. This is getting awkward. Their tongues danced together.
Like I'm watching
Both
a porno with a bunch
teasing.
of dudes.
I know. Both teasing and demanding. A soft moan now started low in her throat, and she clung to him. She suddenly felt off balance and dizzy with all the feelings he was awakening her, and the concussion setting in. Again, the word echoed in her mind as she... Wait a minute, where'd I go? Oh, as she opened her eyes, but when she would pull away again, Quinn tore his lips from hers and trailed hot kisses across her cheek, then down her neck. Her head fell back, and she buried her fingers in his hair, holding him close to her. Quinn finally lifted his head and kissed her softly. Please don't go. Panting softly, Luca licked her lips and looked at him, then shook her head. Hermione, look, whoever you are, I'll stay, but I don't want to talk. As much as I'd like to tonight, I miss you too deeply and need to feel you. The corner of his mouth lifted, and he sat back down on the blanket, pulling her down with him. Oh, we don't have to talk, big boy.
Uh-oh, here comes
Oh,
Elmo.
God. Timing.
Got her, girl? Got her, girl? I'm telling you, go check your email if you can make it. Why are these guys talking dirty to each other?
I know, right? It's like an awkward bachelor party.
Oh boy, this is going to get really awkward. Rosalind, do you want to come on here for a little bit? Because this is weird.
Oh, this is about to get really out.
This is about to get really weird. We need some humor here. You don't even have to show your face. I mean, that's
Please, just somebody read it. Okay, I guess. I'm gonna, unless I have
all
to take
the women's to bounce off of.
oh my god. Oh my gosh. Let me do this.
Oh, well, okay.
Give me a second. This is gonna be. Let me do this real quick. Oh gosh.
Well, Rosalind, you could jump in here and help us, you know. Instead, no, you're standing on the shore going, oh, why is that idiot over there just drowning himself? Instead of jumping in and helping, no, you just rather sit on the shoreline and laugh. Thanks a lot. You're a big help.
Oh, what the hell? Is it not working? Oh, geez Louise. Did Twitter just take a crap?
Oh, really? What's going on now? I'm telling you, the last couple of days, weird stuff has been going on. I'm telling you.
I think it's because they're trying to shut it down.
No idea.
Puddle Town.
That wouldn't surprise me,
not a
to be
chick.
honest.
We need to get the ladies. That's the thing. I film shite and make fun of it. Do you even know me? Well, I mean, if that's what you want to film, that's no judgment. There are people that are into that kind of stuff. Just saying.
Oh, my. Oh, yes.
She's coming.
Oh, yes.
I film shit.
Not as much as you're about to. Oh boy.
And then Puddletown just wants to pile on in the sausage fest. It just makes it even more awkward. It's not helping.
Words.
At least if I got these two in front of me, I can keep an eye on them a little better. But you wandering around behind me kind of makes it a little...
Well, oh Lord. I guess we're gonna have to do this now, aren't we?
Break out that Elmo.
Why Elmo? Why does it always Elmo?
Yeah.
Why is
Or Gollum,
everybody
I don't care
always
either
want
one,
Elmo?
but it's fucking hilarious when you do Elmo or
Because it's
Gollum when it comes to
awesome.
this
It's
shit.
hilarious. It is like the joy
Yeah.
that everybody looks for. You just can't quite get. We're all coming together. Oh, Lord. Fast.
Well, here goes something.
Lucas tried to Quinn's lap and he put her down on him and ran her hands over his broad shoulders. It felt so good having her so near him. Yeah, tried to forget her, but if he were honest with himself, he never did. The pain of leaving her had never gone away. He'd only ignored it until late at night when his brain wasn't focused on anything but sleep and he wanted to jerk off. She'd slip back in and he'd feel the pain again. Okay, I guess he's into pegging or something. Now she was in his arms, pressed close to him. God, he hoped this wasn't a dream.
Just like at the very end of it, the Gollum.
Just gotta
It's
put
only
that
a
little
dream.
bit
It's
of
only a
emphasis.
dream. Oh, no, it's not.
Oh,
He knew it wasn't a dream the moment that she leaned in and kissed her again. Her fingers tangled in his hair. She greedily devoured him. Oh my. His heart responded, thumping hard and steady against his chest. It wasn't the only thing that was thumping. She broke the kiss only for a moment and sat back and slightly pulled her shirt over her head and put her t-shirt over her head. Okay. And every muscle in his body tensed. Oh yeah. Yes, we're giving the goods. For the moment, he wanted her to do what she wanted to do to him, but he didn't know how long he'd last. His hands ached to touch every inch of her, but he would be satisfied with touching what he could. The skin of her neck was smooth and warm, and the rest of her would be too. She moaned into the kiss. It was all that he could handle this.
He got that grip sprain in his hand from playing the stranger. That's what it was.
We've got the
Kicked
Gollum.
in. It's a sports injury, I promise.
it's a bad tennis elbow.
Ren broke the kiss and tugged on her hair, pulling her head back to give her better access to her neck. He licked and nibbled his way down to her shoulders, spending a little time where her neck met her shoulders. This is where he'd have bitten her if she were his mate. It would seal their fates together forever. Right now, he didn't care if his wolf recognized her as their mate or not. He was going to love her like she was.
Yeah.
He kissed down her shoulders to her chest, pushing her back slightly and unfastened her bra, grunting as her breast slid excitedly into his waving hands. Looking up, he started breathing heavily and nearly came undone from the sight of pure need in her intense gaze. He looked away from her gaze and returned to admire her swollen breasts as his river suckling run between his lips, lashing the tip of her nipple with his tongues as
It's getting nibbled.
And that's what she sounded like.
Hey, Gutters, girl.
Hey, Gutter.
That's just so wrong. I don't know
I
what it
love
is
that.
about her.
I never know what she's saying, though.
Me,
Talking, right?
I'm trying.
I've never understood that.
Love it.
Hi, Gutters Pub.
How are you?
Howdy.
You know.
Wrong opera.
That's good.
Sausage Fest is over. Now we just get to run a train.
Brother Doucet, stop making fun of me.
I'm tired of playing with the boys.
Werewolf erotica, yes.
Basically, yeah.
Rogue Mama's leaving.
Slowly backing out.
Slowly backing
Back It's like the Homer Simpson meme.
As a werewolf, this is disturbing.
It's only disturbing once the Macho Man gets involved.
But Elmo's descriptions are so epic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I guess I should continue.
Yes, keep us going, Elmo.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just keep edging. There you go.
Luca whimpered as her fingers dug into his shoulders as she teased one nipple then the other, sucking the nipping until they were as hard as sharp dagger points. He released her with a soft pop and straightened.
Get her away from the windows.
Her eyes looked glazed. She had never looked so beautiful. Quinn wrapped his arm around her and shifted them so that she was on her back, her hair fanned out beneath her. He quickly rid her of her jades, pulling them slowly over her hips and long legs and tossed them aside. The smell of her arousal nearly made him come again. It made his wolves crazy. Which was different. He ignored his wolf. He'd deal with his wolf's reaction later. Right now, he wanted to kiss every inch of the life body beneath him.
I gotta.
Go ahead.
Quinn!
Lucas' voice was low as she called his name. He smiled and braced himself over, leaning down to kiss her again.
No talking, little witch, remember?
She smiled, then arched her back and leaned down and drew one stiffened nipple into his mouth, sucking vigorously. He moved her the other hard nipple before nipping and kissing his way down her stomach. Sitting back on his knee, he hooked his fingers in the lace of her panties and slowly pulled them down. He flashed a grin and stood undressing her as fast as he could before dropping down and stretching over her naked bodies. Quinn kissed her deep, tender, and yet demanding. Being like this with Luca was definitely a blast from their past. Memories of the night they spent under this very oak tree they were now under came rushing back to him. How could she not be his mate? That question kept running through his mind. He had to push it aside and stay in the moment, and right in that moment, he wanted no need to be inside of her right then. Finding the entrance to her heart with core, he plunged in with one long, hard thrust at his cry of his filled his ears, encouraging him to pull back out and push in hard and fast all over again.
Oh.
Got him.
Oh, God. Gunner just now got it. It was like, oh.
It kind of it goes back and forth, kind of like this scene does.
Towel, please.
I was just gonna say she's gonna need a moment. She's gonna go something.
That's right.
She's busy.
The case was desperate, one that neither of them could have slurred if they wanted to. He felt their walls of her pussy tight.
Oh,
my.
Her heels dug into his ass and caused faster and harder. The moment he felt when he felt her go over the edge, he heard her scream his name as he released released through her. Her spasming pussy gripping his cock was ready to fight over the edge with her. He walked in on her a few more times before seeing himself as deep into her as he could get. She took all of him, held him there before he collapsed down next to her. They laid there, spent, but not nearly so, trying to catch their breaths. Trying to catch their breaths.
oh, now it's towel, please.
Thank you, Teresa. And happy Sunday, everyone. I can't stay because I'm headed to bed. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. She's still, yeah.
You get a towel. You get a
She's still
towel.
feeling- yeah.
Go live on my G-spot. My precious. Oh, yeah. Wait. What do we got? What do we got?
You're so sweet.
What is it?
Say
Oh,
it is
gosh.
a little bit different though when Gollum's talking about eating people, because he literally eats people.
Nice.
Hey, Rosalind.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, Rosalind, how you doing?
What's up?
Wow.
Wow.
Have you been enjoying the story?
I don't know if there's any parts for me.
There's no filters given out for this story. So
Well, and you can clean it up if you want to. It's nobody's
don't.
going to hold it against you.
You have to do
I don't know. I think Elmo may hold it against you. Like,
Oh, I remember how it's hard to hear so.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, and it's calmed down. I mean, they're past the smexy part. It looks like so.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead,
did
Gutters.
you read?
Oh.
Did you read the ahead?
No,
read the
no.
what?
Why would I?
I've
Why would I
kind
read
of
that?
read a little bit there.
What am I reading?
Part of the
I don't know
fun
what's
of
happening.
cold reads.
Oh, you're not reading anything yet, unless you
Oh.
want to go first. It's up
No,
to you.
oh, I never want to go first. I want to see what everybody else has to offer.
Oh, do you know?
I'm all about going first. I want to get there.
Well, here's what we
Let
can,
me go
here's what we can
first,
do.
please.
I can move Rosalind up there so that way she's got a little bit of a chance to get warmed up.
She's got a chance to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
Gutters
I'm actually
pub, Elmo on her
working,
way to
so
the
this is
front.
really funny.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Working
work.
it while you're doing this. That's nice.
You say,
Attempting
Register,
to.
I will be happy to take you up on that.
Ladies come first.
I want all of you narrating it. Well, you should be careful what you wish for.
Swear if I get my audiobooks going, I'm going to want all you guys narrating.
I will
Well, no,
gladly accept.
And November the 1st is going to be the new release, if I'm not mistaken. That's what Amazon told me.
Oh,
At Rogue,
a lot of
you're
releases
Elmo out of
going on,
Dallas.
that's for sure.
Yeah, I think she should definitely write a story about dirty little Elmo.
There's gonna be a random like red puppet that just shows up in one of her stories. It's like, you know, demented and sex crazed.
Have y'all not seen TikTok Elmo?
No, I don't have TikTok.
I don't either, but I've seen him on other streams, and He's really naughty.
Is he really naughty?
Well, he has a
He's really
dildo hidden.
naughty.
He has a dildo hid inside him. I'm sure he is very naughty.
It's so bad.
That tickling does
One-
not come from that. Well, what do you?
I want to say there's one in here that's pretty good. The Kermit, you've seen that, right?
The one with the black hair, is your name Emerson?
Uh,
Oh, that's weird. It's Emerson big old titties, you know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure it's the same guy that does Kermit. It also does Elmo.
I bet he does. Yeah,
Pretty funny.
that's pretty damn funny.
mhm. All right.
Oh, Lord.
All right, here you
We
go.
will, we will proceed on with chapter 9. Luca. Luca propped herself up on her elbow as she lay next to Quinn, her breath coming in tiny pants. Quinn reached out.
Why is he wearing tiny
I knew.
pants?
Okay. Quinn reached out to tuck her hair behind her ear, then moved to cup the back of her neck and pull her in for a tender kiss. What? Okay, I got it. She ran her fingers down his arm as if she were trying to memorize the feel of it. No, not memorize, but maybe remembering how much she loved to touch him. Tomorrow she'll regret letting him talk her into coming to the lake and giving into him and her own desires to feel him inside of her. Wow, that was fun, Wolf. His grin widened. Glad you enjoyed it, little witch, but I haven't had near enough of you. Oh, Lord. Luca grinned and leaned down and kissed him softly. But when she would have moved back, he cupped the back of her neck and held her there. The soft kiss turned into passionate, scintillating, whatever that word is, scintillating. Scintillating kiss. Quinn grabbed her hips and pulled her on top of him so she could straddle his hips. His hands guided her hips, lifting her, then letting her slide down slowly. Their collective moan.
Gutter needs some water already.
Dry mouth.
Dry mouth.
That's what it is. Their collective moans filled the air around them as he slid inside of her. Oh. This was what home was supposed to feel like. Luca's chest tightened at the thought of losing him again, but she had to push through that as far back as her mind as she could. He was going to stay in the moment, and she was going to stay in the moment and love him. His hands moved up her silky skin to cup her full breasts, twisting her hardened nipples as she rocked her hips against him. Fucking ouch, let go. His hands went back to her hips. And then Tokyo, lifting her and then pushing her back down as he thrust his hips up. Each thrust seated him deep within her hot sex. Oh. Quinn, it's like you lose train of thought here. Quinn explored her body, running his hands over her silky ivory skin as he were trying to remember her body, as if he were trying to remember her body all over again. That had her quickening in pace as his light touched made her burn hotter than before. It was his tenderness that would be her undoing. He had to know it. Closing her eyes, she rocked faster, and both of them breathing was erratic as she felt her releasing, building faster and harder than before. Luca cried out when she felt that burst of pleasure, nearly pushing her over the edge again. Jeez. I might be turning myself on.
I'm gonna put my hands up here. You know,
Yeah.
Everybody moves, including me. Quinn dug his fingers into her hips, lifting her and nearly dropping her on top of him, both of them wanting him deep inside of her. It was when she felt he had touched her soul that her body clenched and tightening around him as she'd climaxed, with Quinn following close behind her. They finally slowed down. Then she collapsed on top of him, her ear to his chest, listening to his heart beating erratically. Finally, as they both came slowly back to earth, Luca rolled off him and tucked herself against his side. He held her close, neither of them talking when they both closed their eyes and drifted into a light sleep. Luca hadn't been asleep long before she felt light and feathery kisses on her face and eyelids. She opened her eyes to find Quinn watching her, and she gave him a sleepy smile, stretching like a cat who had overindulged in its milk and was now feeling lazy, and then snuggled into him. "How do you feel?" He brushed her hair lightly with his fingers, and she smiled again. "I feel wonderful. How about you?" "I feel pretty good." She rolled out of his arms, sat up.
Better. No, I'm just kidding.
Typical. Time to go do the dishes and off the floor. Looking down at him, her smile slowly slipped away. "What do we do now, Quinn? I won't be hurt again. Is this just for fun? Is this just for a fun roll in the grass? I can accept that. What I can't accept is falling for you all over again and having my world twisted upside down when you leave again."
bastard.
Son of a bitch. She watched as all humor left Quinn's dark eyes, and he sat up too, reaching out for her hand and bringing it to his lips. "I won't leave again. I want to stay here and be with you. But I've been thinking, and I don't think that can happen unless we find out who put the curse on me and why. If whoever cursed me once without me, or even you, noticing who says it can't happen again. You know, if you stay here with me, that will put a rift between you and your family. I don't want that for you. That can't hang between us because it will tear us apart faster than a new curse." Quinn reached out and caressed her cheek and nodded.
That third leg getting in the way.
Again.
Hanging down between them.
Now.
Hey, where'd Rosalind go? Did she skip out on it? She
I know.
bugged
Where
out.
did you go?
Well, she did.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that she's working at the same time that she's doing this,
Oh.
so she probably had to pay attention to work.
Oh, we got work for
okay.
her, all right.
Oh, okay, what you do.
All right. Trust me. I'll take care of my family and the pack. but I need your brain, she chuckled. Well, if it's a little befuddled right now, but if you have it, Quinn grinned. We need to think back to before I left. Was there anyone you can think of that had a crush on me? Someone who maybe followed me around or was always around? Luca pressed her lips together and searched her mind. When she and Quinn were together, she didn't pay attention to a lot of things that were happening around her. She only had eyes for Quinn. And her mind was full of building their future together. But surely she would remember if anyone was trying to catch Quinn's attention, wouldn't she? She had been more self-absorbed than she thought she'd been. Or had she been more self-absorbed than she thought she'd been? Her heart stopped for a moment, then slammed into her chest, nearly stealing her breath. Quinn watched with a slight frown. What is it? I know who had a crush on you. She followed you around and pined for you. I can't believe
She pegged for you.
Big Ben.
She was doing all that pegging just for you.
She never broke any eggs.
Oh, wow. Lord, I just got that one.
Damn, Shizzy.
All righty. Leave the shells intact. I can't believe I didn't think of it before. The last bit she whispered to herself as the full realization hit her. Who? That little witch? Who was it? Luca licked her lips and stared at him with wide eyes. I'm so sorry, Quinn. I thought little about it, even when she and I argued about it, but I never thought she would do something like this in a million years. She let out a breath and shook her head. It was Summer. My sister, Summer, did it. She had the biggest crush on you. I was constantly telling her to back off, that she was making a fool of herself crushing after you like she did. Don't you remember that? No matter what you were doing, especially if we were together somewhere, she'd always show up. Quinn stared at her for a moment, then watched her expression change. Luca nodded.
If you want me to take over for a bit, I can.
Okay, I'll let you.
Well, it's not about letting me. I just want to make sure you're comfortable.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I need to wet my whistle.
Or dry it up.
Well, it was dry.
You get a towel.
You get a towel.
I remember that one particular day, about 4 months before I left, that she showed up at the roadhouse while I was having a few beers with Max. She was being very obvious about how she felt, flirting with me, laughing at the stupid shit I said, and things like that. Max left and we stayed at the roadhouse while I finished my beer. I tried to talk to her about how she was acting, and well, she didn't take it very well. Oh, I'm so sorry, Quinn. I can't believe she did this to you. No wonder how it felt a little familiar when I was trying to lift the curse.
Quinn turned the hand that he was holding over her and kissed her palm.
It is not your fault, Luca. You are not responsible for her actions. I helped raise her. Of course I'm responsible, or at least a little. But now we have to figure out what we're going to do about it and her friends. If she finds out we're working things out, in more ways than one, at least I hope we are. And then who knows what she'll do.
Quinn leaned close to her and brushed a light kiss across her lips.
We are a little rich. I'm not going anywhere, and I will figure these things out with my family. But first, your sister, Once I know she won't try to curse me again or do something else to me that from not wanting to be with her, I'll talk with my family.
Chapter 10. Quinn. Quinn grabbed that hammer that hung off a belt on his hips, nailed another board into Miss Gloria's French porch. It had definitely seen better days, and just like when he was younger, nailing all kinds of boards, he didn't even need a hammer. He couldn't resist trying to help her. It had started because she was Luca's Nana, and he wanted to stay on her good side. Bet he did. Then she started calling him if she needed anything done. He had seen that porch needed repairs when he'd come over for her to lift the curse, so he thought he'd help her out. It gave him time to think about what had happened between him and Luca. He hadn't seen her in a few days, but they'd talked on the phone, and he was busy with pack obligations, and she was busy in her store getting ready for Halloween. The mere thought of her had his wolf raising his head in interest when he wasn't even lifting his eyes. He had been restless the past few days, and Quinn remembered how his wolf, is that what we're calling it now, had reacted to Luca when they made love under the oak tree. Still, the beast didn't recognize her as their mate. Well, why not? Quinn didn't need to think about it. He knew in his heart that she was his one true mate, but he needed his wolf to recognize it too. But Quinn could not wait for his wolf. He knew he had planned on telling Luca that maybe the curse had done something to his wolf that none of them knew about. Neither Miss Gloria nor Luca had mentioned feeling anything off about his beast. Yet Quinn could feel it. It was hanging to the right, not to the left. It was acting sluggish, and the blue pills weren't working like they used to, and with no energy to do or care about anything going on around him. What's wrong with me? Is it ED? No! Go ahead there. It is your turn.
Oh, not very well. Well, what a serious look you have there, Quinn. Is my porch that bad? Quinn stopped hammering and looked over to see Miss Gloria coming alongside with a tray of cookies and some lemonade. He set the hammer down on the porch and joined her to sit in a rocker. She handed him a glass, then a cookie, before leaning back and started rocking gently. So, tell me what put such a serious look into your face? Quinn chuckled before taking a long drink of his lemonade. He hesitated only a moment before confiding in her. I love Hermione, Luca. Again? Miss Gloria. There's no more denying it. What I wonder is why my wolf doesn't recognize me as her, what? Doesn't recognize her as our mate. Our mate? How many voices does this guy have? Well, I know you do love Luca, and she loves you. Anyone who spends 5 minutes in your presence knows that. Quentin grinned, and she winked at him. So, wait a minute, who's this? Oh, so maybe we need what? Okay, whatever.
That's her.
So, we lifted the curse, but maybe we need to do the cleansing. I think there's been enough cleansing. Perhaps we let the poison out of the pipes. Perhaps the curse affected your wolf. Not as much, but he's still feeling the effects of it. I'll do anything you want me to do, Miss Gloria. I want my family and my wolf pack, and my pack to recognize Luca as my mate. They won't until my wolf does. Not that it matters to me. I still want to be with her, but it would sure make life easier. Miss Gloria nodded. Well, it certainly would. So let's do the cleansing and get the poison out of the pipes. I get on my knees and I help you out. She's not around. I'm going to go in and get everything we need. And the milk pumps, a battery, and some jumper cables. And in the meantime, have a schnickerdoodle. I know they're your favorite. Then come inside in a few minutes, and the gurney will be set up for you. Quinn watched her walk inside as he grabbed a cookie and ate it. His eyes closed at his first taste and moaned softly. He loved snickerdoodles in general, but there were regular snickerdoodles. And then there was Miss Gloria's snickerdoodle. I could eat that snickerdoodle all night long.
Stays up at night thinking about her cookie.
I would toss
But
those
it's an
cookies
old
left and right.
snickerdoodle, but it's still got a lot of kick to it. If he were dying, it would be his last wish to feast on her cookies until his last breath. Nom, 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 nom. He grabbed another and popped it into his mouth before. Apparently, he likes the. What is it? Cincinnati? The Cincinnati Slam or whatever it is.
The Cleveland Steamer?
Oh, there you go. The Cleveland Steamer. Yeah, right in the middle of it. Moves Grandma's quilt out of the room. And it's coming over. 30 minutes later, he stood inside the cabin in a circle of salt. With his arms straight out to his side and no shirt. Miss Gloria finished setting up the gurney and what she needed for the ritual. You know, Miss Gloria, I think you just like taking my shirt off. You dirty old broad. You seem to take every opportunity to get me naked. Well, I'm old, not deaf, Wolf, and I still admire a great set of abs. Ask the crazy corporal. He had a great set of abs. Quinn laughed. Are you making moves on... Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh. Are you making moves on Quinn again, Nana? Quinn looked around to see Luca coming inside, then sitting down on a stool at the kitchen counter. Why is Quinn half naked in your kitchen again? Quinn grinned and Luca laughed. Wait a minute. I wanted to, I wanted to make sure that's it. I wanted to make sure there was no lingering after effects after the curse and you cleaning the pipes. A good cleansing should take care of that. We have coffee
The old
enemas.
grandma's German.
We do coffee enemas too. Miss, they're speaking. Wait a minute. Who's this? Miss Gloria. Okay. They're speaking about the after effects. Who is this? I can't keep track of people anymore. It's her. Okay. We're speaking about the after effects. I have so many voices in my head. Of course, when you're done, the three of us need to have a conversation about who cussed Quinn. Miss Gloria looked at Luca and raised an eyebrow. After the ritual, Quinn can eat some more of these schnickerdoodles. There we go. You made, and you can give us some advice. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was her. Never mind.
Oh. You want to read it again? You're welcome to.
No, that's okay. I think we'll pass on that one.
Never her eating her snickerdoodle.
I'm sure I have lots of advice for you two. All three of them grinned. Holding some burning sage, Miss Gloria started chanting and circling Quinn and leaving a snail trail, making sure the smoke from the sage covered him from head to toe as he slipped and slid all over the floor. Once she circled him once. She circled him again, crumbling herbs around inside the salt circle, then circled him again with the burning sage, slipping and sliding on her snail trail. As Quinn stood there, he felt something inside him shift, clearing out of his system. Just give it a few minutes, that coffee enema start working real wonders.
Just a little.
Once it starts, it doesn't stop. It made him a little off balance. Well, it affects your hydration
sphincter
levels,
thing.
You should make it, it's kind of like having a diarrhea. You got to keep on. It made him a little off balance, but he could feel his wolf waking up and stretching from the effects. Their bond seemed to strengthen, although Quinn didn't realize it had weakened. He could feel the power of his wolf filling him again, connecting them, and they both would be even stronger than they were. He looked at Luca, sitting there watching him, a soft smile on her lips and humor seeming to dance in her eyes. There was the woman he loved, laughing at him like she'd always done and loving him like she had before, because 50 millimeters really isn't that big. As Miss Gloria finished the ritual, he felt his wolf's attention turn to Luca, and Quinn could feel his excitement.
Whoa.
He flashed her a smile as he put his shirt on, walking over to her and kissed her, then whispered in her ear. Are you sure you want to tell me... Oh, wait a minute. Are you sure you want to tell your Nan about Summer? Luca nodded. Wait a minute, who's this? Oh, it's our... Oh, it's... Okay. She needs to know, and I need her advice on what to do about it. Summer can do something like this and not be punished for it. It's our coven law. What are you told this thing about over there? See, it's never good to keep secrets. They kept a lot of secrets back in the day, and it never turned out very well. So come sit, have a cookie, eat my pumpernickel. No, my schnickerdoodle. Just sit down and have some tea and tell me what's going on around here. Sieg Heil der Kaiser! Oh, sorry, I got caught up in the moment. When you get all excited, it just starts coming out.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it just reminds me of that old granny doing the shot. Granny unlocked an old memory.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Jeff Dunham when that piano player he has is playing the piano, and they start talking about he's singing the song "Show Them to Me," and then
Rodney Carrington,
Rodney Carrington, that's it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that is just so funny. Or he gets up and starts grabbing.
Bear. Yep.
It is your turn, Kaiser.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay. I guess I'll just go ahead and read this one. Fairly normal, but I'll have a little fun with the voices. So yeah, here we go. Luca and Quinn settled down at the table with their nana, each of them taking a cookie and accepting a cup of tea she had handed them. They sat in silence for a few minutes before Luca looked at Quinn, and he nodded and covered her hand with his. She looked at her nana, who was looking back at her expectantly.
Quinn and I started talking about the coice and trying to figure out who coiced him. Well, what did you come up with?
Luca took a deep breath and let it out slowly. She did not want to tell her nana that one of her granddaughters had broken coven law. A minor law, but still a law.
It was Summer.
Her nana choked on her tea. A crime, if you ask me. I was like, sweet Summer? Luca nodded.
She was always following Quinn around, trying, as I said, she was little, but when she got older, it got worse. She couldn't stand that Quinn and I might be mates. I know it was her. We both do. We just don't know what to do about it.
Her nana fell quiet and sat stirring her tea. for an overly extended long period of time. Almost like it just kept going and going and going and going. And I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a solipsism now. Luca's heart ached thinking about what her Nana must be feeling. In fact, actually, what she was really feeling was hang the bitch by her toenails. We'll need to bind her powers, Luca. Not permanently, but for a while, like as punishment. She gonna be grounded, and just like you was in the middle school. I'll need to speak with to the coven and your father, of course. Well, what should we do? Miss Gloria looked at them both, then sighed. You two need to get Summer to come to you and confess. Do you know, or do you think you can do that? Either later today or tomorrow. It should be soon. Luca and Quinn looked at each other, then back to her and nodded. Good. Now get out of here. Y'all got a lot to do today. And don't forget to eat your tea, or drink your tea, eat your cookies, and, wipe your feet on the way out. Luca stood and went to her Nana and kissed her on the cheek. I'm so sorry, Nana. It's okay, sweetie. Now go. You got things to do, and the milkman's coming at 4, and I got an appointment to keep. Lucas smiled softly and nodded before taking Quinn's hand and left the cabin. Once outside, Quinn walked her to a jeep, backing her up against it, and kissed her until she melted into his arms. Finally, lifting his head, he smiled at her.
I've missed you this last couple of days. Want to head back to your place and let me show you how much?
Luca said, "Want me to show you a donkey punch?" That's what I thought it said.
Oh yeah, show the donkey punch. Yeah.
Show you the stars.
I thought it said, "Want to head back to your place and let me show you a donkey punch?" I was like, "What?" I had to read it twice. I was like, "Oh, okay." I just got a little blurred there. Sorry.
Lucas smiled back and put his back at them and pulled her keys out of her pocket. I missed you too, Wolf, but we got things to do before I give in to your charms. But she lifted on her toes and brushed her lips slightly over his. I can't wait for you to show me. Luca winked and then got into a jeep and rolled her window down.
That's him.
Huh?
That's him.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like making sure.
What do you think about giving Summer a call or a text and just ask her to meet with you somewhere? Just let me know where I can.
Oh, wait, that's it? That's her. That's her, dude. Damn it.
It is. It's because he said he's seen Quinn nodded.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I was like, I was confused there. I'm like, okay. Damn it, Shizzy, you made me go get it wrong.
It happens.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna blame Shizzy anyway.
I'll take the blame for that because that was glorious. I don't even say it in that voice.
What do you think about giving someone a call or a text and ask her to meet you somewhere? Just let me know so I can tell my Nana. I need to do a few things at the store and relieve my part-time girl. Oh, my goodness. For lunch. But we'll be free later this afternoon.
Quinn nodded. I'll try to get her to meet me this afternoon then. I don't want to delay this much longer.
Me either. See, you're so sexy.
Even the narrator is beginning to really get into this. We put your Jeep into gear, and me into gear, by the way, and drove away, watching Quinn in her rearview mirror for as long as she could. She pulled up behind her store and parked her Jeep, hurrying inside to relieve her employee. When she got to the front of the store, she stopped. Summer was sitting behind the counter, filing her nails. She looked up and smiled and motioned to some boxes in the corner. Oh, gotta figure out another voice.
Those just came. I thought you was leaving them for Maria.
Luca forced a laugh and shook her head.
I wouldn't want you to break a nail or anything, sister. That would be tragic.
Luca went over to the boxes sitting behind the counter in the corner. She let out a breath as she grabbed a box knife out of the drawer and started opening a box. All she wanted to do was yell at Summer, ask her what she was thinking, trying to take Quinn, and then cursing him. But calmer heads needed to prevail, and things done properly. She heard Summer's phone playing Hungry Like a Wolf by Duran Duran and rolled her eyes. That had to be Quinn, but that song. Luca took several deep breaths and clenched her fists when Summer answered.
Oh, hi, you're not bothering me. I've always got time for you.
Give me a frigging break. Luca pushed her anger down as Summer continued to talk.
Sure, I can meet you where and when. Sounds good. I'll be there at 3. Bye.
Luca turned up in time to see Summer slip her phone into her purse and stand up. Her cheeks were flushed and her eyes were bright. She smiled at Luca and slipped her purse over her shoulder.
Who was on the phone? Somebody special?
Her smile widened.
Well, I'd like him to be. So we'll see. We're meeting at the lake at 3. I'm gonna go home and freshen up real quick. I'll call you later.
She didn't have time to wait for Luca to say anything else before she headed out to the door and to her car parked in front. Luca watched her pull out and drive away before she pulled out her phone and out of her pocket and dialed Quinn.
Hey, little witch.
The sound of his silky smooth voice had her blood rushing hot through her and pooling at her core. She wanted this over so the two of them could be together.
I called Summer.
I was like, oh, sorry.
I called Summer.
Yeah, I know. She was here at the store when you called her. Do you know she has Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran as a ringtone?
Quinn laughed and Luca shook her head.
I knew you'd find that funny. Cheer up, little wolf. It's almost over. We'll have nothing standing in our way today. You believe that, don't you? Okay.
That clicheing little bitch.
It's like typo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say nothing, but at least this obstacle will be gone. I'll let Nana know that you.
And oh my God, is that her again? God, I can't keep track of who's
the
talking.
Voices backwards. Yeah, the voices backwards.
Yeah.
Just think of Snickerdoodle.
Thank you, Tammy. This is fun. This is what we do on Sundays all the time.
Oh, hey, Tammy, what's up? Yeah.
Yes. This is all for fun.
I wouldn't say nothing, but at least this obstacle will be gone. I'll let my Nana know to start heading that way. Oh, and by the way, she went home to freshen up. I almost threw up when she said that.
Quinn laughed hard and she disconnected the call, then contacted her nana. She waited until her employee came back from lunch, gave her instructions to close up her shift when her shift was over, then headed up to her apartment upstairs to wait for the time to come to head to the lake.
When you were not feeling fresh, summer's eve.
I'm like, what the hell is that a commercial?
Did you
Summer's
finally
Eve.
get it? Did you finally get it?
That was too good.
Summer's Eve. What a douche.
I was waiting for a break in there. I didn't want.
She's like a
Somebody
total
clip it.
douche. She's got to go freshen up.
That needs to be clipped. That's all I have to say.
Or when you have the absolute worst possible situation, reach for the maximum douche. Summer's Eve.
Teresa.
Teresa's like,
All right.
This is your time, gutter spell.
Let's see how we can do here. I don't know about changing
You're
voices,
just
but
fine.
all right.
Hey, you do you.
Yeah, all right. Chapter 12, Quinn. Quinn paced along the shoreline of the lake, looking longingly at the oak tree on the other side. That is where he wanted to be, and he wanted Luca with him. He didn't want to be here, waiting for Summer, the witch that had cursed him and stole the time that he and Luca could have been together. As much as he let Luca think it didn't bother him, it did. He wanted to yell and scream at Summer. He wanted to shake her until she realized how selfish it had been to curse him. He heard Summer's little convertible coming before he even saw it, and was waiting when she pulled to stop. She got out of her car, smoothing down her wind-blown hair, and then waved at him. He lifted his hand in greeting and forced a smile as she came up to him. "Hey, Quinn." She wrapped her arms around him and hugged him, and then pulled away, not noticing that he hadn't actually hugged her back. "You made it sound urgent. What did you want to talk to me about?" Quinn looked around and felt some of his tension leave him when he saw Luca in the distance, heading towards them. Sticking his hands in his pockets, he put a bit of distance between him and Summer before he spoke. "We just haven't spent any time together since I've been back. How have you been? Anyone special in your life?" Summer laughed and shook her head. No one special. Well, I have feelings for someone, but he doesn't know it." "Maybe you should tell him." "Not yet, but I will when the time is right." She turned her head away and looked out over the lake, not meeting his gaze. "What about you? Did you get things straightened out with Luca?" "I don't know about straightening anything out, but we talked and got caught up. I've missed talking to her. And you?" Summer looked at him and gave him a smile. "I missed you too, Quinn." "Oh." "And she discovered something when we talked." "Oh?" "Yeah. It was a funny thing." He watched her carefully as he spoke. "You know, I left to find my mate, but didn't have any luck." She nodded. "Well, she discovered that someone had cursed me, and she thinks its curse is to keep me from finding my mate. I couldn't believe it when she told me."
That conniving bitch, I'm going to scratch her eyes out.
Little whore.
Oh, God,
So gonna
yes.
scratch her eyes.
That's right. Seal it shut. Did she discover who had cursed you? Quinn let the question hang in the air for a moment and just looked at her until she looked like she was squirming. He actually felt sorry for her and what was about to come. But she'd done it to herself, and like an errant child, needed to deal with the consequences. You did, Summer. They both turned and watched Luca walk up to them. Ah, I never. Luca turned to her hand. Luca lifted her hand to stop her sister from talking. Yes, you did, Summer. Nana had to lift the curse from Quinn because I couldn't. You know those burns that you helped with me? That was the result of trying to lift the curse. Look, Luca, I didn't mean... of course you didn't, Summer. Once again, you acted selfishly, without thinking of anyone but yourself. I'm sorry. Her voice was hoarse, and Quinn saw a tear slip down her cheek. I'll go and... Summer. The deep voice had then all turning to watch the girl's Nana and father, along with two coven leaders, walking up to them. Daddy! Summer's voice was so low. Oh, low. Daddy! Summer's voice was still low as she wiped a tear away. Nana, what are you doing here? Oh, fuck, I'm busted.
Yeah.
Summer, your Nana told me what you did. And we told the elders to decide what to do. We don't do curses, honey. You know that. Daddy, I can explain. Her father shook his head. I'm sure you can. But you can tell me later. Right now, we need to deal with what you did. As punishment, we are going to bind your magic. Quinn looked at Luca, who looked at him wide-eyed. That was quite the punishment, he thought. He didn't want to know what they did to witches that seriously broke coven laws. Still, maybe it was for the best.
Ball gags, leather straps.
Baldos.
Oh. Someone's getting bounded.
Well, that.
Oh.
Daddy, please. Not that. Anything but that. Her father walked up to her and put his arms around her, hugging her close. I'm sorry, Summer. It'll only be for a couple months. It'll go by fast, I promise. Right now, you need to apologize to Luca and Quinn and hope they forgive you. With tears streaming down her face, the little whore looked at Quinn and then at Luca. She opened her mouth as if to speak and then closed it again. Luca stepped to her and wrapped her arms around her sister and hugged her, while Summer cried harder. I forgive you, Summer. I love you. This will go by fast. You can come to the shop and work, or we will hang out. Summer nodded and straightened, then looked at Quinn. I'm sorry, Quinn. He looked at her tears and then hugged her like Luca had done. I forgive you, Summer. I could never stay mad at you, so why start now? He kissed the top of her hair before letting her go. He reached out and pulled Luca closer to him and then watched as they all walked away with Summer in tow. Well, she didn't learn a damn thing then, did she?
No.
When they were gone, he turned Luca around and claimed her lips in a deep, sensual kiss.
But she was already facing him.
I don't, well, maybe whipped, like, I don't know, broke her neck now.
Well, never mind.
Well, I mean, you know, it's their positions. They can do what they want with them. I mean, they do have magic. Luca wrapped her arms around his neck, melting against him, moaning softly into the kiss. Quinn felt his wolf stir within her moan. Oh, I bet he did.
Yep.
When she nipped his lip, his wolfie nearly howled. Quinn was surprised at first and then relaxed. He reached around. Oh, I bet he did reach around and grabbed her butt, pressing her against him, and then lifted her. When she wrapped her legs around his waist and rocked the aching bulge in his jeans, his wolf nearly howled. Mate! Mate! Quinn pulled back, both of them panting, and looked at her. She put her hands on his cheeks and searched his eyes. Quinn, what's wrong? Are you okay? Mate, he heard the word again from his
Would.
wolf, and he grinned at her, kissing her hard. He hugged her tight until she squirmed.
I thought it said squirted.
It's coming. It's next. Quinn, I can't breathe. Tell me what's going on. He loosened his hold on her so she could catch her breath, but kept smiling. He knew she was his mate, but needed his wolf to recognize her as well. To his surprise, just did. Ooh. If you don't tell me what's going on, I'm going to punch you.
The old donkey punch.
The old donkey. Oh! My wolf, he said in a hoarse whisper. What's wrong with you, wolf? Not a thing. In fact, things are pretty close to perfect. He kissed her softly and then rested his forehead against hers. My wolf just called you mate. He's recognized you. He's recognized that you're our mate. Marry me, Luca. Marry me, mate me, and let's make puppies. No, I mean, let's be happy. We deserve it.
How much more mating is there?
The stamina. I remember the day. Quinn pulled back to look at
yesterday.
Luca.
Well, that's good.
As tears filled her eyes. I didn't mean to make you. Yes. What? Yes. You crazy wolf. Yes. I'll marry you. I'll mate you and love you forever. Quinn grinned as his wolf howled. It was the answer they both needed to hear. And for the first time in so long, he and his wolf were in sync and happy. They had found their fated mate.
Fated.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, towel.
You need to go get a towel. What?
Well, I was going to mention that I now have a towel on, a beach towel actually on my merch store that says towel please. I also have pillows that say it.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor. I live upstairs from you. Yes, I think you've seen me before. God.
Oh, wow.
But the best part is, got a little less than 30 minutes.
Wow.
We got to get started on the next one. Oh, Teresa Finn, we're not done yet.
Very well.
Yay.
No, thank you, Teresa Finn.
Yes,
And you
thank
guys, November 1st, she's going to have a new book out. At least that's what it says on Amazon. The link is in the channel, so you can go check that out if you like these kinds of books. Just know.
And get the other ones.
Yes,
and
that
read
is
them
one
to
of Teresa's
yourself.
masterpieces.
Mm-hmm.
So Teresa
No, we don't
Finn,
have to hear us.
she is a writer, and that was one of hers. Yes. Wim says, I'm disturbed.
Oh,
You should be.
disturbed. Wait up, they were really trying.
Then you fit right in with everybody else. Wim.
Now wait till you see how disturbing it gets.
It's only because of us. Just read it to yourself. That'll be fun.
That's right.
This is the prequel. You know, it's a little early on.
Yay.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Is that too big?
Never. Well, sometimes, but not.
Better? Do you need it larger?
That's fine.
Does that help?
Whoa, hey, oh, ow, wow. I got all these TTs in my face.
Too deep.
Lots of TTs
Back
in
off.
your face, huh? There we go. Oh, okay. That looks good for me. How about you?
There you go.
Okay.
Yes, you can buy those books. You can find them on Amazon. She could throw her links in there where you guys can find them. Yeah, you can buy it. You can buy all her books. And these aren't the only ones that she writes. She writes other kinds of books too. All right, here we go.
She is a writer chick.
Yep.
Let's see. How do we want to start this? All right, we can start a little bit like this. What do you mean you're leaving? Tessa blew a strand of hair out of her eyes as she carried her suitcase past Sean O'Reilly. He stood about halfway through her living room, holding her daughter. Hannah. Sadness settled over her as she looked at the two of them, her throat tightening as she pushed back memories of a different time and place. Swallowing hard, she shrugged at Sean's question.
Wait, she's holding Hannah. Come on.
Oh, wrong. Okay. Guess I read the room wrong.
I need to change, Sean. I have no family here, and now that my folks are gone, I have to hold me down to this place.
Tears burned in her eyes, and she took a deep breath to get her emotions under control. The pack is your family. He reached up to gently sweep Hannah's wild golden curls off that tiny little forehead, then looked back at Tessa. I'm your family. She gave up trying not to cry and let the tears fall this time. Moving closer to him, she wrapped one arm around him and the other around her daughter. Laying her head on his chest, she blinked back the tears.
You are my family, Sean, and I love you so much. But you of all people know what I mean. I need to move on. Do something more with my life instead of living in the past and longing for what will never be.
Lifting her head, she stepped back a little.
It's been 3 years.
They stood there, looking at each other. They were cousins and best friends growing up together. Weird. Having fun and creating chaos as only teenage shifters could. Tessa knew how hard it was going to be not having Sean constantly around, playing with Hannah, letting her lean on him, but her mind was made up. Sean sighed and stood reluctantly. I understand, but I still don't like it. Tessa gave him a soft smile and
rubbed his arm. I don't like it either. but I just can't stay. After meeting with my dad's lawyer, I found out they left me with a hefty inheritance. I never knew they saved and invested like that, let alone went outside to the back to do it. Oh, and life insurance.
Tessa frowned.
What wolf takes out life insurance policy, let alone one of that size?
Shaking her head, she went back to her bedroom for her other suitcase. Seeing the picture of her parents on the table beside her bed, she picked it up, sat down. The picture had been taken a week before the accident that took them away from her. The other driver, driving a large SUV, had been drinking and fell asleep behind the wheel when he swerved into oncoming traffic at her parents' car head on. The wolf injuries, the injuries they had sustained had been fatal, even for wolf shifters. Wiping a tear away as it slid down her cheek, Tessa got up from the bed, slipped the picture into her overnight bag, shouldering the bag, and picking up her other suitcase, she walked back into the living room to see Sean on the floor, with Hannah helping her stack blocks. Her little girl was going to miss her godfather. Sean O'Reilly had been her rock the last 3 years since Hannah had been born. He checked on them every day, did work around the quaint little cottage her father had built himself. But when Hannah was close to being born, they'd had a big snowstorm. But Sean and the pack enforcers weren't right there, shoveling everything so she could get the car as if she needed to. Sean had also been there for her. He had been there every step of the way when she discovered she was pregnant with Hannah. He had been her shoulder when things had gotten too much to bear. They were more than cousins. They were best friends, and always would be. And there we go. Your turn, Yoma.
Oh. I'm sorry, I blanked out there for a second. Where did you leave off?
Right here at the top.
Ah. Who's this? Sean. Okay then.
That's her.
What?
That's her.
Oh, is it? Oh,
That's her.
That's probably not a good voice. Okay. I don't know what to do. Let's see. What do I want to do?
If it's a her, that voice would work.
Okay then. I think that's everything I'm taking. I just need to pick up Hannah's toys here in the living room. Then we're good to go. Sean stood up and swept a giggling Hannah into his arms, hugging her tightly, setting her back on his feet. Wait a minute. Oh, setting her back on her feet. He helped Tessa pick up all the toys and put them in a bag that Tessa would keep in the back seat of her old Durango. The two of them carried everything outside and packed the suitcases and boxes in the back of the vehicle. Tessa lifted Hannah into her car seat, giving her some animal crackers and her favorite doll before closing the door. Turning, she collided with Sean, who had stepped close behind her. Tessa wrapped her arms around him tight, burying her face in his chest, and started to cry. She was excited about the new phase of her life to start. Even though she didn't know where they were going to land or what was going to happen, she knew if she didn't leave then, she would never go. "Arr, it's okay, little wolf," Sean whispered hoarsely into her ear, and his words that were meant to comfort her only had her crying harder. Schooner, I'm gonna choke the life out of your little man in the boat. Oh. Tessa didn't know how long the two of them stood like that, holding each other, both of their hearts breaking until they pulled apart. Sean reached out to wipe the last of the tears from her cheek and smiled. "It'll really be okay, little wolf. Go out, find your way, and know that I'm always here for you. The pack is always there for you. My peg leg is always there for you, if you decide to come home." She took a deep breath and nodded, Okay then. I know, Sean. Get my sling blade. This will always be home, and I don't feel like I belong here anymore. I'll let you know when I get settled. Mm-hmm. Sean just nodded as he walked her to the driver's side door. Pulling her keys out of her pocket, she opened the door and climbed inside. She rolled down the window when she shut the door. Huh? Oh. Arr, drive safe on your little boat. This lets my goddaughter in the back. Tessa smiled at him and nodded. Okay then. No worries, Sean. I'll call when we stop for the night. He stepped back as she started the vehicle, then put it into reverse. She slowly backed up, her eyes looking into the rearview mirror, then at the house. When she turned onto the highway, the quote she'd seen one day came to mind. What? Oh. There's a reason the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. Where you going is so much better than where you've been. Tessa certainly hoped so.
There we go. Yeah. And then we'll do Gutter, and then we'll do Kaiser and be able to finish up.
Let's say finish strong. Yeah, there you go.
Kaiser, you're gonna finish us off, okay?
Yeah, that's what I do.
I mean, we could have Gutter finish us off if that's what you'd like.
Personally,
three
I'd
of
rather
us
have
in
a
one
girl
of you.
finish
Just
me
saying.
off. Just awkward when a guy.
Come here, big boy. You know you want.
I'm gonna make you love me.
No, he can take the heavier load.
I'm gonna make you squeal like a pig. Oh, Lord.
All right. The vehicles in front of her inched slowly toward the flashing detour sign that told them all again that the road was closed ahead due to construction and to take an alternate route. She had been seeing the sign for miles, and like the drivers ahead of her, she had ignored them. Now, none of them had a choice. The road was closed, and they either had to turn left or right. Problem was, she didn't know which way to turn. The silence in the car had Tessa looking in the rearview mirror to check on Hannah. For the most part, her daughter had been really good, but Tessa knew Hannah. She could go from happy to cranky in 2.4 seconds, like her father or any woman. Her father, God, now that was a man with mood swings. I wonder where he finally ended up. Had he come to a road closed sign like she was about to and just drove until he found a place to land? Mommy, I'm hungry. Mama's hungry too, baby. I promise, the next place I see that serves food, I'll stop, okay? But I'm hungry now, Mama. Tessa rested her head on the back of her seat and sighed. And so it begins. I'm hungry now too, Hannah, but there's nowhere I can stop. Hannah started crying, and her little face set, not in sadness, but in anger. She threw her doll down on the seat beside her, and when Tessa stopped again, it slid onto the floor. That made the little girl even angrier, and she started to kick in the back of the seat in front of her. Tessa scrubbed a hand down her face, taking several deep breaths, letting each out slowly as she tried not to lose her temper. It wouldn't do her any good to get upset too.
Shut up, you little shit.
All I can
I'll
sit
turn
here
this friggin' car around.
all I can sit here and think of this entire time is like, oh God, I'm having flashbacks to my kid. And he's asleep in the next room.
He's just like, yep, I know this feeling.
Oh boy.
Yeah. This is written from experience.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
The detour was finally ahead of her, and it was her turn to decide which direction they should go. Both directions looked the same, but had rows and rows of corn on either side. But she could see hills. Both had rows and rows of corn on either side, but she could see hills further along and to the right. What is Shizzy? We broke Shizzy. What the hell? We broke him.
Well,
He's broke.
it sounds like a cornhole.
I'm just thinking Children of the Corn references.
Yes.
She sat there a moment, wondering what lay ahead and if fate was done playing with her then. Someone behind her honked their horn, causing her to jump. With a weary sigh, she started moving forward again and then turned right. "Mommy, I'm hungry!" Nana screamed as she kicked the back the seat in front of her so hard it actually moved forward slightly. Oh, yeah. That's a sure sign. First, pull the car over and whip some ass. I'm telling you, it was the growl that followed the scream that had Tessa slowing down and stopping on the side of the road. Uh-oh. You might want to feed that kid.
I'm going to eat your face.
That's what you're about to do. Oh.
Once she stopped, you're fine. Once she stopped, Tessa was able to pull together some grapes, cheese, and yogurt for Aunt Hannah to eat. It was the same thing she'd given her right after they'd turned onto the road they were following now. Hoping that Hannah didn't shift while she was strapped in her car seat, Tessa pulled back onto the road, putting in one of Hannah's favorite CDs. Oh, God. The Baby Shark.
Don't you dare.
No.
Do
it, Kaiser. Kaiser, do it.
Baby shark, baby shark,
I fucking hate that song.
Baby shark.
Okay. So, the song Back in Black started playing and her daughter started bouncing around to the tune while eating grapes. I just tried to go completely opposite of
much better.
Baby Sharks.
Sweat.
All right. Let's let Kaiser go. I think he should finish it off.
Okay.
He can't get Baby Shark Doo-Doo out of his mind.
No, let it go. Let it go.
Oh God, I hate that one even more.
Several hours later, after Hannah was asleep and the vehicle was blessedly quiet, Tessa rubbed her eyes and stretched her neck. Her fingers were cramped from holding the steering wheel all day long. It was like she was gripping hammer back in the mines, working the gulag. And her legs ached from staying in the same position for so long. She had never dreamed that they would find a place to stop and eat or then a clean motel. But after 4 hours, they'd been anything except abandoned. Looking in gas stations and rundown farmhouses. So she was getting worried that they wouldn't find anything. The Durango jerked unexpectedly, and it tightened her grip around steering wheel. A moment later, she let out a breath and relaxed in her seat, loosening her grip when it continued to drive normally. Well,
That had certainly woken her up. Then it jerked again. Several lights lit up on dashboard, and engine began to moan and rattle. Say, almost sounds like it was Soviet construction. Anyway.
Durango.
Potato, vodka, who cares? She managed to pull over to side of road before the vehicle stopped completely. Speechless, Tessa sat there for a minute, staring at the dashboard, trying to get it to start again, only stopping when the engine screeched at her in protest. I guess, again, not Soviet construction apparently now, because it wouldn't protest if it was made in Soviet Russia. Anyway, leaning back in her seat, she just sat there a moment, looking into darkness. There was nothing but moonlight and cornfields surrounding them. Tessa stepped out of the Durango, taking care not to wake Anna when she shut the door. Walking around the front of the vehicle, she opened the hood. Using a flashlight on her cell phone, she looked at what lay before her. Well, that's the engine. She had no mechanical skills and no idea how to even check the engine to see if she could find out what had happened. She hadn't ever actually fixed anything except her daughter's dolls. Sean and her father had always been there for anything major. She'd have to learn these things for the future. Fear shot through her suddenly as she took another look around them. What a great place for an evil, sadistic man with axe or chainsaw to step out of cornfields and either kidnap or kill them.
Exactly.
Tessa just shook her head. She'd watched too many of those capitalist horror flicks. With Sean. Besides, she dared anyone to try and get to her between her and Hannah. There was nothing fiercer in the world than Mama Wolf protecting her pup. As the fear slid away, a panic took firm hold of her, and her wolf paced. She hadn't seen a car in over 100 miles, nor had she seen any houses with lights on in the middle of the damn cornfields. Her breathing became quick and shallow, and she could feel herself teetering on the edge between logical thought and frantic imaginings. Her hand went to her throat, and she took several deep breaths to calm herself down. She would not panic, at least not while Anna slept in her car seat. Taking one more breath, she got back into her Durango and turned on the flashlight feature on her phone. She tried to get her GPS and map to work, but she could not figure out where the next town was. If anything, she could wait until it got lighter out, put Hannah in her stroller, and started walking. Yes, she thought, feeling calmer, that's exactly what she'd do. After several attempts to get her GPS to work, she realized she had no signal or internet service. And the panic started to slowly seep into her bones again as she saw the headlights coming up behind them. Tessa jumped out of a vehicle and started waving her arms until the car finally slowed. Then stepped beside them, the passenger window going down. An older gentleman dressed in overalls and wearing a tattered, dirty bowl cap leaned over and looking at her.
You're a long way from civilization, miss.
Tessa gave him a nervous smile, leaning in to speaking to him.
Yes, but God just stopped running and I can't get it started. Do you know how far I am to the next town?
The man nodded.
Grady's about 40 miles up that hill. I can take you up there. You can get some help.
Tessa looked back at Hannah, sleeping soundly, and then back to the man.
I think I better stay here, but can you go there and let someone know to come help me? Maybe the police or something?
He looked past her to see what she had looked at and back to her.
You bet. I'll stop by the sheriff's office and he'll send out a tow truck.
Tessa smiled at him.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll just get in my Durango, lock the doors, and wait for help to come.
The man gave her a quick nod and window slid up as he drove away. She jumped back into the Durango and locked the door, patience was not one of her virtues, but she hadn't wanted to get into a stranger's car with her daughter. They would stay right there and wait for cavalry to come.
And that
They're in a cornfield.
concludes-
It's aliens.
That
Don't go
that
messing around in a
concludes
cornfield.
for tonight, because chapter 2 will be starting up next week. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Mhm.
At least there's plenty of corn around. And yeah, so if you get hungry, you just get yourself some popcorn, right? That's not really how it works. I mean, there's a difference between corn and feed corn, but you know.
Oh my God! I'll
most
have to
peop-
tell you guys about an interaction I had earlier today with somebody that made me like question reality. Oh my God!
Yes. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Everybody, we have some pretty interesting stuff coming up this week. What do you have going on there, Kaiser?
Well, let's say I've got more of the entertainment news that you need to know. I've got all kinds of things coming down the pipe that we're looking into. I've got some very interesting news coming out of what is going on with the Snow White movie. I say, is there a possibility this thing is even going to make it to the big screen? Because we're finding out that the budget is way higher for this movie than we ever thought, which has also got a lot of people asking the question, how is there any possibility that this movie could even remotely be profitable? Spoiler alert, it's not, but oh well. We'll get to that later. Over here on Kaiser Pineapple.
What do you have going on, Yamaha?
Oh, well, it's very interesting. I have no idea.
Love it.
So interesting.
What about
Nobody
you
knows.
guys, girl?
Probably next Saturday, just reading a story that we need to finish up. But yeah,
Hello, Allie Riddell. So, reading up some more stories next Saturday. Those were fun this Saturday. If you guys didn't check that out, that was a really good time.
silly adventures.
Oh, Allie, you're not late. You're right on time for us to end the night. No, go back and watch. It was a rather interesting night tonight. What do you have coming up, Gutters Girl?
Well, I have lots of things going on, but basically right now it's election time, so mine's all about the things that nobody else wants to talk about. So pretty much on my channel, that's what you're going to see now, right up until they take the till they take it away.
Right up until it's up until then.
Up until that day.
Yeah.
Yes, that day.
Yeah,
No,
but
well, it'll be
and
that. Well, give yourself at least a month or two past that, because it
Yeah.
takes a while to count votes, I guess.
yeah,
Or
I-
five
Remember when we
votes,
used to do
something,
that all
I
in
don't
one
know,
day?
I'm confused.
Yeah, one of
used
the
to-
big things that we're trying to get into is about getting people to go out there and poll watch, because I think the more that we
Ooh.
get people out there, that's a big thing. I think that's huge. So, and I'm not talking, well, you can dance on the pole while you
Do
watch.
I need a bunch of ones? Is
There
that what it
need-
is?
well, I mean,
I
You can
take
dance
ones
if you
when I
want
pull
to.
watch.
that could
Well,
get you
she
closer.
might. She might need a bunch of ones for you. I mean, you're the one that gets her motor humming. I'm just saying. She'll make it rain, and it's not quarters she's throwing. Pennies, maybe pennies from heaven. So
Yeah, that's what
Um,
that's what I've basically been working on, a lot of that, and just trying to keep networking and getting out there and letting everybody know we're all here. And yeah,
doing your thing. Well, and I have, let's see, this next week, of course, I do Derailed with the boys. I don't know if that's going to happen this week. We'll see, because it might already be derailed before you know it. That Volstorm couldn't make it tonight, so hopefully Volstorm and Diva make it next week. See what's going on. Keep your thoughts and prayers in for them. See what I don't know what's going on. Haven't heard anything, but I don't need to know everybody's own private personal lives. Damn it!
Yeah, right.
It could just be
Stop
that
peeking in my windows.
They just could be in pain after Arkansas. I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything. Maybe they didn't want to be taunted, or something. I don't know. No, I love them both dearly. And then, of course, we have Sarah Boone trial will be starting on the 7th. I will be covering that every night until that is over. And I'll be starting that on Tuesday. Tuesday. And then I'll just be doing it at night, not during the day. Which
So
will
it'll be over on
because,
Tuesday.
Yeah, and then of course next Saturday I will have more of what you got this Saturday, and I will be wearing my safety gear just in case. It'll give me plenty of time to. Oh, you missed this Saturday.
Sounds like it. He's bringing safety gear. It sounds like it's gonna be
Yeah. It's a long story. You would have to go back about a couple of weeks and to follow. Actually, longer than a couple of weeks. Whew, that's been a while. Anyhow, everybody, with that, we're gonna call it a night. We will see you guys. Make sure you sub up to all these fine people. I will
Thank you,
throw
everybody.
up Gutter's
Yes.
link into the chat after we're done. I'll throw it up in there, or in. She can throw it in there. I think you. Yeah, she has the ability. She better have the damn ability. Everyone, have a wonderful one. We will see you very soon. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, ah.